Welcome to Raging Bullets, a DC Comics fan podcast, episode 653. Welcome to Raging Bullets. I'm Sean Whalen, drnorge. I'm joined as always by my co-host Jim, the sensei of the whatnot, the Duke of the Sultan of Strategery, the indestructible bridge-defying, recently returned from his epic battle of supremacy with the infamous cyborg whatnot, and of course he is the elder statesman of the podcast, Segulin.
How's it going, eh?
Jim, on this episode, we are going to be talking about Dark Crisis number 2 and Batman number 125. We also have a number of books that we're talking about in our Speeding Bullets segment. Jim, as always, we are joined by DCB Service and InStockTrades.com. What is going on over at DCBService.com?
We got a lot of good deals coming up with Batman Day in September. They've got a Batman Day special of Hush issue number 1, only 50 cents. A Batman Day Batman's Mystery Casebook special, also only 50 cents. They've got Batman Night Watch issue 1 of 5, 50% off, only $149. And we have Batman vs. Robin issue number 1, 50% off, only $2.99. Thank you, DCBS.
Over at InStockTrades.com. In the new releases, we have Batman Urban Legends Trade Paperback Volume 2, $24.99 regularly, 42% off, only $14.49. Catwoman Fear State Trade Paperback Volume 6, $16.99 regularly, 42% off, only $9.85. Thank you, DCB Service and InStockTrades.com for continuing to support our show. Considering their support, let's talk about our new contest. We have a spoiler warning contest that's running from July 3rd, 2022 to September 3rd, 2022. Create and send us a spoiler warning audio file through ragingbullets@gmail.com or leave it on our voicemail line, or you're welcome to write a spoiler warning for Jim. Our first prize winner is going to get a book of their choice from the September previews, hardcover or trade, a spot on the show where you get to choose the book, or if you don't want to join us, that's not your cup of tea, you can choose the segment topic for us. We'll be repeating the same thing for the second and third prize winner. And please consider applying for this one, because I'd love to see the creativity of our listeners. Jim's been doing the spoiler warnings since very early on in the podcast, and I'd love to see what our listeners come up with. But, Jim, just to give them a tease, just to give them a little taste of how it should be done, can you please tell us what kind of a podcast we are?
Raging Bullets is a spoiler podcast. We go in depth into plotline, story twists, and whatnot of the comics we're discussing on today's show. So if you haven't read the books, you may want to come back later so you can better enjoy the show.
Let's talk some comics.
Through the magic alchemy of nature's most awesome sources of energy, Ray Palmer, atomic physicist, becomes the atom.
Jim, there's a few books I want to talk about in Speeding Bullets, and we're recording the two episodes back-to-back, so last week's episode and this week. So the reason why there's no DC news on this particular episode is because of that piece. So I wanted to save some talks about some books. So team-ups are something that I talked about last episode that I've been really enjoying reading right now. Have you read Aquaman and the Flash, Voidsong, the first issue of that?
I haven't read it yet, no.
Oh, what an incredible series this one is looking to be. We talked last episode about how stylized Swamp Thing was. So this one, it embraces the fact that, and you don't get to see them team up a lot, Aquaman, at least these days, themselves, Aquaman and the Flash. You know, because their worlds are so different when you think about it. The undersea world of Aquaman and, the high-speed running of the Flash. What happens, though, because the two, like Aquaman can get pulled to the deepest depths of the ocean, and the Flash can be pulled to other dimensions and far distant spaces. What happens when these two are the only survivors of a entity coming to Earth that basically has taken out the Justice League and all of humanity, where this thing comes down and it's basically captured them with its Voidsong, where now they're basically pulled into, it's like almost an inaudible scream, so to speak, where, their eyes are black and blank and, they're staring off into space. And these two cannot call for, your famous line, call for backup. There is no backup. They are their only backup. And they're assuming that they can, call on their other heroes and things and they can't. There's no way to get a hold of them because they've been pulled in as well. The cool part is you get to see these two having to interact in each other's worlds. Where, obviously the Flash has difficulties underwater, the Aquaman has difficulties on land. They're teaming up together and using their powers and learning a lot about each other and having to rely on each other to start solving this mystery. It's only the first issue in. There's really terrific writing. It's a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous book. I love the art team on this one. It's something that I wasn't on my radar at all till I started reading it, and I like the characters. Actually, what drew me to this one is the next book that I'm going to talk about real quick, Aquaman and Green Arrow Deep Targets. Did you read the whole thing of this thing?
I love that, man.
Oh my gosh, what a great series that was. 7-issue series, wrapped up really well. A great team up between two amazing characters that I have to learn more about each other because they literally became the other person because of a time event. Time was messed with. Oliver Queen grew up to be Aquaman. Arthur Curry grew up to be Green Arrow. And their memories, what happens when you have memories of two lives? Deep contradictions, and you feel this loss of portions of yourself that you can't explain. Like your real life, the life that you should have had, is but an echo. The pain of that. I loved how it just explored that drama and played with. I'm a time travel junkie. And anytime you mess with time or bring time into it and you find creative ways to do it, boy, this was something that was special and really stood out to me as being a really interesting and unique series. I'm glad you got a chance to finish that one too.
Yes, oh God, yeah, that was a good story, man. It was one of those things where, I sat back and was like, I got to finish this up. So took a time to just sat down and read the rest of the series. It was kind of a neat, just, I don't want to say palate cleanser, but it was kind of where it's getting away from the other stories. Sometimes, those black label books, Elseworld books, whatever you want to call them, things that are out of the continuity, they've got a good place, for just a good, really solid story, some beautiful artwork. I absolutely love the look of that book. So it was, a fun read.
Did you read Robin number 15?
Yes.
I love Damian, and I actually loved how it was an epilogue to the crossover of sorts. And, you have some great moments with Talia and Bruce where Damian's trying to get his parents like, hey, can you two just please, for my sake, just for once get along? Because I'm not going to choose between the two of you. Him making peace of sorts with Bruce, but basically saying, I can't go with you right now. I need to find out who I am. I need to continue on my journey, on my path. I have got to say, I love that Connor Hawke is in this series because he's a character who I didn't see them bringing back until obviously this series started to do it. And I'm glad they went back to Lazarus Island, and we get this really cool, interesting thing that's going on with Flatline and Lord Deathman, which it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But what a surprising read this one is. It's a very interesting book, Robin. And I got a feeling you'd already read that one as well. But what a great read. God, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Damian they did a really good job throughout the tournament, throughout everything going on with the Shadow War, and they did a great connection in just kind of bringing you up to speed, bringing you up to date, everything that's going on. They get great storytelling in that issue, but also just getting me ready for what's to come. I tell you, that's, laying the groundwork for everything with Flatline and Damian. I really like those two together. And if something's happened to her, then I really want to see what happens to Damian because of Damian's connection to her. It's beautiful usage of her, and a great ending to the story. That teaser for what's going to come next while he's on the island trying to figure out everything where he belongs to it. And let's add to the fact that everything going on with Talia, everything going on with Bruce, everything going on with their world. It's that beautiful chaos, that dance of chaos that they've done well in that book.
Did you happen to read Nightwing 93?
Yes.
With Blockbuster and Heartless?
Yeah.
And talk about one of the things I'm really enjoying that's going on in DC right now. It's the reimagining of favorite villains, but also at the same time the introducing of newer villains like this Heartless, and the idea that Heartless takes people's hearts to survive, but it's got to be the hearts of somebody that would be missed, somebody that is loved, and it really adds a creep factor to it. Boy, the relationship between Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson in this is fantastic, because Dick Grayson set himself on a breakneck path. He's got his life as Nightwing, which is nonstop. And then his life as Dick Grayson is also nonstop now because he's so high profile. He ends up doing, the traditional, like, crazy Dick Grayson stunts, like when he's trying to get away from the police. He does that crazy grapple hook thing with the motorcycle. That was just, like, very cool Big Brother Dick Grayson. But Barbara's like, come and stay with me right now because you need to, like, really get away from all this. He has that magic moment with her. And I just loved the reaction between the two when he says the 3 magic words, and you get to see, like, both of them. He didn't mean for it to slip out, and she didn't know how to react to it, but yet you feel that these two are going there, that their relationship's continuing. Please, please, please let these two keep succeeding. Let it continue its slow burn, because I think the pacing that they're building this relationship feels very real, feels very natural. These are two that deserve to be together. I don't think it's taking anything away from either of their respective, Batgirls or Nightwing. The fact that these two are a couple, if anything, it's enhancing both books and adding something that's a different sort of flair to the whole thing that I'm really digging.
I agree 100% everything you're saying. Completely agree with you. And that has me very worried because, remember, he's up against the villain who only takes a heart if it's going to break someone's heart. Initially, I was thinking, he's going after, Dick Grayson's heart, Nightwing's heart. Yeah, he's going after his heart, the one that he loves.
Sure.
I am really worried about Barbara.
Sure. And that should be...
And again, it's Barbara Gordon, so odds are not going to happen. But if they really wanted to throw everybody off, if they really wanted to just shock the world, that's how you do it, out of nowhere. I don't think they're going there. I don't think that's going to happen, but part of me is worried about that.
Last book that I want to talk about, I don't know if you had a chance to read this one. They released the first of the Black Adam movie tie-in specials. So it's Black Adam, the Justice Society Files, Hawkman #1. If you missed this one, don't, because there's going to be one. It looks like there's this one in July. There's going to be Cyclone #1 in August, Dr. Fate #1 in October, Atom Smasher #1 in September. So they're all going to be leading up to the initial release of the movie. This is the telling of this film universe's Hawkman and what his backstory is and what his relationship is as the leader of the JSA. There's some great moments in there with Black Adam. There's some great moments in there with Hawkman. There's some great introductory moments in there with Dr. Fate. It's exactly the kind of story that I'd want. It embraces the film universe. So this is great prelude stuff to the film where there's the right amount of echoes to the DC universe proper. There's a very cool appearance by a long-standing Hawkman villain that just makes a great appearance in this and is reimagined for this in a way that is very fitting. It's just something that really stood out for me. There is a story in the back from Brian Q. Miller that's called Lost and Found, and it's a 4-chapter story, so it'll wrap up at the end of it, that tells the backstory of Black Adam. I can't recommend this enough if you're looking to see the film. Even if you're not, it's a great story out of the gate. I'm always looking for more Hawkman, and the idea of exploring a different universe, Hawkman, is really something that I embrace. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but if you missed this one, go ahead and grab it because it's really cool.
Look at those strange little beetles. They look... Great neutron!
Our next discussion is on Batman issue number 125. The writer is Chip Zdarsky. Jorge Jimenez on art. Colors by Tomei Mori. Letters Clayton Cowell. Cover by Jorge Jimenez. Variant covers by Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair. Francesco Mattina. Inhyuk, Inhyuk Lee. Gabriel Del Otto. Simone de Mio, Jorge Jimenez, Jock, Alex Gardner, Chip Zdarsky has his own variant cover. I think Jim Lee and Scott Williams had a secondary variant cover. A lot of variant covers, which looked really cool, by the way. Associate editor, Dave Wheelgoes. Editor, Ben Abernathy. And, of course, Batman was created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger.
Dude. When you mentioned the covers, okay, let's talk about that cover. Let's talk about the original cover that's over there. I mean, the look, the style, the artwork, the color tones, the fact that we've got Batman, and we'll talk about who else on that cover in 1 second because I got to go there next. The logo, I love the logo styling of this. It says a new era begins. I have loved this writer on Daredevil. When I heard he was going to be Batman's writer, I was so geeking out because, boy, such interesting parallels between great Daredevil writing and great Batman writing, where we've had writers throughout the years. Frank Miller, for example, great runs on Daredevil, great opportunities on Batman. We're seeing this again with Chip Zdarsky. This writer just gets it. Tim Drake is back and you're gonna be in trouble. I mean, I am so geeking out. I did not expect that. That was unexpected. I deliberately didn't read much about what Chip Zdarsky was going to be doing. I don't know if that was announced and I just am blind. I didn't know he was going to be doing Tim Drake's Robin in this. Boy, does this feel good. It feels like I want to say back to the basics, but moving it forward at the same time. It's got an edge to it. The artwork is spectacularly matching the writing on this. This is a creative team. One issue in of this run, and it's exactly what I wanted from Batman. There's an edge to this, like a really strong, cool edge to this book that is just, it gave me so much of what I want without knowing what I wanted. Like, is there more to tell about Batman and Tim Drake working together? You bet you there is.
Yeah.
And I was, boy, to say I would, not only was I right at home, it doesn't feel like we're going backwards. It feels like going forward, and really going forward with a nice, no other way to say it. There's an edge to this that is, you got to be feeling that, right? I mean, what was this like for you?
Dude, man, I'm echoing everything you're saying. I'm right along with you, man. I absolutely love this. This was again, if you take a writer who does something that I 100% say, I don't want them to do this, and they do it, and I say, that is awesome. That tells you the writing skills. We'll get to what he did that I 100% never wanted them to do, but I'm now 100% in on it. But then also, add to it, brought back Tim. I was like, no idea he was bringing back Tim as Robin. Absolutely loved it. Again, and it made sense why Tim is hanging out with Bruce. Tim is worried about Bruce. Tim's worried about, Bruce's being all Batman and no Bruce Wayne anymore. There's no more Alfred there at the manor. There's no one there for Bruce. There's just the Bat, just the mission. And it makes sense that Tim would be the Robin to say, hey, we've got, I got to look in on Bruce. I got to make sure Bruce is okay, because that's how he got the job in the first place when, Jason died. He went looking, to seek Batman because Batman needs a Robin. That was the perfect usage of Tim to be this Robin. And again, you talk about Edge. We've said multiple times, I never want Edge to be edgy. I want Edge to be part of the story. This is 100% what we're talking about. This is an edge to Batman, but it's not just being Batman, Edge. It's an actual real, just grit to him, and there's a reason behind it. It's a combination of multiple things hitting him. He doesn't have Alfred. He doesn't have Selena around. He's lost his fortune. He's not exactly the most popular person in Gotham right now. He's spending all his time as the Bat. There's no downtime for him. All these things are going to wear him down, are going to break him down. And I love the fact that we're starting to see just this, right in the opening issues, we're seeing this initial kind of wear on Bruce. We're seeing everything that he's been through, all the one event, one extreme moments after another, had put him in this spot. Absolutely love this story.
the thing, I love the opening where you got this another time page where you see Alfred and the beep, beep, beep and all that type of thing is, Bruce is sleeping and having a nightmare. But you turn the page, and I was shocked by the nightmare because when I turned the page, I realized it was you from last episode talking about digital comics killing comic shops.
Yes.
And so there was three of you, and it's
Yeah.
we haven't seen so much of the three Jokers, and I love that this is being brought into this, where Bruce has nightmares about the three different Jokers. And I never dream unless I want to use my subconscious to piece together a mystery. And he's piecing together that mystery of the Joker in his dreams. I loved that was just something in there where it's like, wow. But again, this is where this gritty art style is really, really sharp. Because there's the right amount of grit. Sometimes he goes too gritty. You're an artist that goes too gritty, and you lose like a beautiful visual style, if I'm making sense. This has a beautiful, dramatic visual style. The lights shining into the beautiful grittiness that's done here just so matches the world of Batman. And this has got to be the sequence that you're talking about that you did not want to see with what's going on with Selina, right? Valmont? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, no, there's more to the... Okay. No, I thought you meant. I thought you meant the relationship.
The Valmont scene. I liked how
I did too.
That's playing out.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So let's go to it. What is the sequence that you're talking about that you didn't want to see that you are?
The death of the Penguin. I never wanted Penguin to die. I never want any of his major rogues to die.
Oh, you think so? You think he's dead?
Well, you take cyanide and everyone's pronounced you dead. There's a pretty good indication, he's dead. Now, granted,
this is Penguin.
It is Penguin, right? Mm-hmm. This could be all a giant swerve on Penguin's part, but you never know. And that's something. It's something as I said, I never want to see, especially a villain like the Penguin. I love the Penguin just because when you get the right writer who knows how to craft him and how to actually make him just this mob boss of extreme level. You can have a really cool Penguin story. So I never would want the Penguin to die, but within the confines of the story, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm digging this, especially with the Catwoman backup where it goes even to more detail on what's going on with the Penguin. I'm like, oh, this is outstanding stuff.
That whole sequence when you're going through where you've got Batman, get away or I'll kill them. I swear to God, not God, not even close. I'm like, to make something sound like it's come from a movie and there's no sound is like, when he comes spurting out of there, I'm like, wow, what great direction, what great artwork. And then you see Bruce, they're killing high-profile millionaires because of what the Penguin's trying to do here. And these two are dead because, in his mind, they deserve it. The sequence and Bruce's outrage of all of this was fantastic. It was something that, especially with it being somebody who was on some level close to Bruce or, somebody who at least Bruce knows. I really enjoyed that sequence. I guess this is why I'm wondering, is Penguin really dead? If he is dead for the sake of this story, they can always bring him back. I love, to your point, let's say he's dead. Boy, where they went with this is really dark, really edgy. And you see the Penguin, I am the American dream. I'm willing to kill anyone in Gotham who has inherited over $5 million unless they give that money away to the people of this city. Whether he killed himself or faked it, he's made himself into a martyr for the people. The reaction of this is going to be interesting because I think Bruce, obviously it's going to be pinned on Bruce. I think Bruce is thinking this isn't as bad as everyone's saying it's going to be. I think it's worse.
Well, I 100% think it's going to hit him harder.
Yep.
And again, I get everything you're saying. I loved how when Bruce has that initial reaction, when he's got that trigger man, he's like, "You're just a flunky pulling a trigger for money. Who sent you?" And it's that kind of sequence, that one where God, not even close, but that "who sent you?" I hear the Batman voice. I hear that gravel. I see that gruff. And you're just like, oh, God. You can imagine. Then you go from that page to the Penguin. And these are the kind of Penguin stories I love when he's got this intelligence. He's got this strategy where it goes 2 levels beyond. We're all playing checkers. He's playing chess. And I love those kind of moments with the Penguin. And that's why when I'm like, I would never want to see the Penguin die because there's so much of it. Now, granted, maybe he did fake it. Maybe this is all just a giant play to get the city against Batman. And this is all just a giant, like that. Because think about it. We had that huge story with, I'm drawing a blank on her name, who was the Joker's assistant in Joker War, Punchline. Mm-hmm. With her and how she, got away with everything she did. She played the system. The system wants to believe, people like this. The people who are going out there, who are on the media, who are, this little broadcast of the Penguin, there's going to be a lot of people who are saying, yeah, man, yeah, forget those people. They inherited all their money. They didn't earn it. I earned my money. And he's going to pull up this grassroots kind of campaign. And Bruce, there's going to be a really big anti-Bat sentiment coming out of this, and I really like that.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's, and you get what's going on there. Bruce right now, I want Bruce eventually to get back all of his money. And I don't know how. I eventually want that to happen. I do feel that this exploration right now of him with, it's funny, he's got millions, but millions with what he does is not a lot of money.
Right.
Using limited resources is a thing. Tim Drake being involved in this again, Tim's costume's a home run. I really like this take on his costume, where it's like the perfect amalgamation of his costume that from, back in the day when he first became Robin, to the Red Robin costume, to this, it's just a new kind of take on it. I really like this version of the costume, and this artist's take on the costume in particular is something that stands out for me, because he just looks cool at a time where Tim Drake's a very interesting character to read right now. And I feel like they're doing a great job at handling the character, where we're adding some depth to him. We've read him for years. I've read him since the original miniseries, and I thought, I took it for granted that, okay, Tim's getting his own book. I guess I took it for granted that Tim wasn't going to be in a Batman book because of it. I hope the continued direction of this series is, when needed, Tim Drake's is Robin. I love this partnership. I always have. And I think it's great to revisit and bring it back, because we haven't shelved Damian Wayne. Damian's doing his own thing. There's plenty of room for Bruce to have a partner, and who better to be a partner than his adopted son, Tim Drake?
Oh, big time. Big time. And I'll tell you, I love just the sequencing where, again, as I said before, I like the fact that Tim is concerned about Bruce over everything that's going on.
Yep.
And then when they're making their move, Bruce is in, socialite, society look. Tim does the sneaking in, takes out the bad guy, plants the bat, the belt, and the mask for him, even neutralizes the gas. Tim, was the main hero of this story, to be honest with you. He did all the hard stuff. And I love the fact that he's doing it. It's a partnership and a team, but that inner dialogue of Bruce was awesome, where he's talking about how Tim is managing the dual identity well, how he's actually happy, and he's actually going, and he's actually exploring and trying to figure out who he is, and he's taking time to be Tim, and not just be Robin. I love the fact that Bruce has that notion, and Bruce is thinking that about how he's got that pride in Tim that he's able to do this stuff. And for me, that was a really cool stuff, especially because Bruce is not doing that for himself. He's recognizing it in others. He needs to recognize it for himself. He needs to actually take care of himself. He needs to he needs to put down the cowl for a little bit and be the man. And I think that is, the fact that this concept is kind of getting introduced in the beginning isn't a throwaway. That's something that's going to get played out throughout this series, I'm assuming, with this writer. It's going to be not just about the bat, but it's going to be about the man behind the bat. And that's kind of I'm looking forward to those possibilities. But also, please, yes, more Tim Drake. I'm glad we're getting his solo series, but Bruce and Tim work great together. I absolutely love them as Batman and Robin.
Oh, I do too. I feel like it's the right time to put them back together because so much has happened to both. It's interesting to see Bruce's relationship with Selina. They're still talking, and they're still. a relationship of sorts there, but they're no longer a couple the way that they were before. And Tim is finding himself, and he's in a relationship where he's taken some steps to try and, just understand what would make him happy. And Bruce's inner dialogue about that, can someone be a happy soldier? For his sake, I hope so. And it is a time where we see Tim embracing being Robin, but also being Tim Drake and what that means. I love that. I love that aspect of him, because there's been points in time where I feel like we've lost Tim Drake and who Tim Drake is. In this issue, it's wow, he's like Tim Drake on 11. Like back to this is Tim Drake to me.
Big time, big time.
I love, if this is where they're going with Tim Drake, more please keep going with this, because I'm really, really enjoying it. I liked when Bruce was at the gala that his belt and cowl were there, but not the whole bat suit, because it was like he had to enact on the fly. And I liked that choice, because you don't see that look, that situation very often. But as a way to put Bruce on the scene, can we have Bruce versus Clayface, where he's threatening him more? That was a great sequence where he's like, listen, hey, by the way, been hoping to see you running again. The last time I had met you, I injected you with a formula that I've been working on to turn your clay into something more explosive. Now, here's the thing. It's Batman. There's a part of you that's like, oh, he wouldn't do that, would he?
Would he?
Now, this is the guy that plans for contingencies of every kind. So you're sitting there like, would he kill him? Well, he doesn't want.
That wouldn't kill Clayface.
Right.
Let's be honest. If they blew up Clayface, that would hurt like heck, and that would mess him up, but that would not kill Clayface.
Right.
So he may have done it. He may not have. This could have been just a giant bluff. I don't know. I love the fact that we 100% don't know, and I love the fact that Clayface said, yeah, you probably did this. I'm going to go along with it. Clayface didn't take the chance. I love that.
That sequence where Tim gets shot and again having, Tim telling him you have to protect the secret. And Bruce relating it all to Jason, and us seeing things from Jason's situation when Jason died that we did not get to see on camera. I love this paralleled expansion where he's like, I can't lose another. This can't happen again. Seeing how much that Jason's death impacted Bruce. That sequence of events was absolutely fantastic, and you could see how that led into what happened with Oswald.
Oh, big time. And I tell you, I loved, it was something that with the art read through, the parallel of him taking off, Jason's costume and leaving the dead body versus taking off Tim's costume, putting him on regular clothing, and then taking him into the hospital. Risking the mission to save Tim's life. I thought that, again, I love just that duality. And again, this is the notions of the stuff we're already starting to look into Bruce as, the man behind the cowl. We're going, and I love the fact that this isn't just about Batman, even though that's the biggest problem right now that Bruce is dealing with. He has no downtime, and we're seeing it kind of play on him. And I thought that, again, these are all just beautiful parts towards this whole story being told that I'm really, really excited for this.
So what on earth is failsafe? Because that beeping was at the beginning with Alfred.
Yep.
What on earth is failsafe? What a great ending that was, because, did you need to give me anything else at this point? You certainly did not, but man, did they wrap that up with the whole storyline's called failsafe.
Yep.
So this is just a prelude to where things are going to go with that failsafe, whatever that robot is. And man, was that cool.
Here's my opinion on what failsafe is.
Okay.
Failsafe is all bat, no man. It's the robotic, Batman. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be 100% no emotions involved at all.
Yeah.
So it's going to be mission only. And this is where Bruce is going to realize, kind of like how he had with Azrael, where he realized you can't just be, you can't. You have to have. You have to have that duality. You have to have that balance of life. Because we saw Azrael, he was a non-detective, who was the pure violent bat version of the Bat. We're now seeing the non-human version of the Bat. No emotion, just flat facts and figures. It's going to be very efficient, but there is a gray that you have to dance. When you're the Bat. And I think that's going to be the issue they're going to run into with failsafe.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting that we get this backup with Catwoman. And the reason why I think it's interesting is just because she has her own series. I really loved seeing this story play out, where we got to see Catwoman with this executor. Underbroker was a character that I've really enjoyed and found intriguing. The executor guy was really, really great. He knows who Selina is, and basically it's this quest for Cobblepot's children. He's left inheritance to Cobblepot's children to find them out. As part of, there's, basically he's got to handle the final wishes of Cobblepot, but he can't do it publicly. Obviously, he's too conspicuous. So he's counting on Selina to take those steps. I love that we're getting additional Catwoman and Chip Zdarsky writing Catwoman. Yes to all of this.
Well, and again, it's kind of neat, thinking about, because the executor of the estate is a robot, but he's beyond just the simple robot because, it's, super robot beyond that. Even, the underbroker had him created for a client who couldn't pay for him, so he became his lawyer. And I love the fact that this robot actually has a personality. And whether it's a simulated personality or whether it was actually able to create a personality, I don't know. But it's still a really good blend because, you think back to just the levels of compliments and just the human interaction. And then even just the just that cold calculating thing where I've got to disperse on these this estate. This is what my programming, I have to do this. So if you try to stop me, I will kill you. Now, if you just leave me alone, let me do it, you're fine. I'm done. Once I'm done, you're free to do whatever you want with it. I don't care. And I love just that notion. And again, it's that whole concept of he's got this one purpose. And he knows he can't complete his purpose. So if he can't complete his purpose, that'll throw him his whole logic brain in a tizzy. So he goes to Selina to find these people. It was a brilliant story. Again, it's kind of neat thinking how we've got this version of the robot versus the other version of a robot in the Bat story. Kind of curious to see how the humanity and or lack of humanity these two creatures have.
Yeah. And I actually like the way you're putting that with this humanity or lack of humanity that these creatures are having. I can't wait to see more of this. What a talk about a satisfying first issue of a run. I don't know how you do better on this one.
Yeah.
Now I can get out of here.
Our next discussion is going to be of Dark Crisis Chapter 2, Fall of the Titans. Joshua Williamson on the script, Daniel Sampier on art, Alejandro Sanchez on colors, Tom Napolitano on letters, Sampier and Sanchez on the cover, Juliet Nneka and Mario Fox Fosillo, Prasad Rad Pressy, Lucio Perillo, Rafael Saramento on the variant covers, Chris Rosa, associate editor, Paul Kaminsky, editor, Superman created by Jerry Siegel with Joe Shuster, Supergirl based on the characters created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. So we've got Chapter 2, Fall of the Titans, more Dark Crisis. What did you think about issue number 2 and this event overall? We were left with the cliffhanger last issue of the Titans Tower going boom.
Dude, man, I'll tell you, I love this. This was absolutely outstanding. And again, giving us a little bit more on Pariah, on what he's doing. We kind of had this idea that he's trying to bring back the infinite Earths, because that will bring back his planet. So, but we still don't know exactly how he's doing it. And I love how they're doing this. They're giving us these little tastes. He's the villain. He's the bad guy here, but he's kind of playing up he's given us a reason not to hate him. But we can't let him win, because for him to win, Earth Zero has to be destroyed. The only way there's infinite Earths is if Earth Zero is destroyed for some reason, which 100% not sure why, but that's going to be kind of neat to see how it plays out. So, and then, we go right into the attack of the Titan Tower. Glad to see, Grayson's still alive. Glad to see Chupacabra survived. So I was like, yes, that's cool. Good to know.
Is he using hope as a battery? What I mean is, it seems to be like these characters that are able to generate great hope. There's something about putting them in the area, like in these. Let's use Barry Allen as an example, right? You put him in a scenario where his life is filled with, his greatest hopes and dreams. Is this dark crisis? Is this, taking off the shelving those that they can pull hope from? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, but there's an opportunity here to have killed one of the main players, and it was stopped.
Right.
Because they want him for something else. I mean, it certainly wasn't to be benevolent, that's for sure.
I don't know if they're feeding on hope, but I think they're more feeding on the chaos, feeding on the negative stuff.
But
they want to break their hearts, not inspire them.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand what the holding of the heroes is for. Like, my feeling right now, and this is my piece, I feel like they're holding Superman, they're holding Batman, they're holding Wonder Woman, they're holding the Flash, Green Arrow, Black Canary. They're being held each in their own little world. And this is me guessing right now based on what I've seen. So this can be modified and formed as I learn more information. But I felt like Dick Grayson has this immense battle, really, really cool battle, where, here's the thing, Garfield Logan, let's go to that one. He's not dead.
No.
He was shot to the face. When we see him next, his face is going to be a mess from this.
Yeah. Well, he said he'll live, but it's going to be, I think there's going to be a scar. Again, it's that whole, because he is the shapeshifter.
Right.
Shapeshifters are hard to kill. And I'll be honest, I wasn't even thinking that way would survive. Wilson wants to put down Garth, not to kill him, but to break everyone's will. And then just same thing like with that fight he has with Grayson. Yeah, Grayson won that round. He's like, okay, who's next? Who are you going to throw at me next? Who am I going to beat up? Who am I going to kill in front of you? And I love just that notion of, again, it's that despair, it's that anguish that is in, that's in Dick Grayson.
What was interesting is that Dick Grayson wins round one, and you see him willing to sacrifice himself for others.
Yeah.
If you kill me, you'll let everyone go. And he, Destro's like, you were always a trophy, Grayson. Why would I waste my time with anyone else? I did not. I've got to admit, this is where they swerved me. I'm like, are they going to kill Dick Grayson here? Are they going to kill Nightwing? Is he going to be next? I loved the Superman moment there. It makes perfect sense. I knew from last issue he was coming. You may have thought that was what was going to happen there. I know I didn't. When that came in, boy, did they do a great job. Even Boom, I'm like, what is Boom? And then he's there. And I'm like, oh, geez, why was I not thinking of John Kent? That added so much more to the moment for me, just because they played a shell game with me, and I got to admit it, they got me. And I loved seeing that moment, because the way that this has been rolling with Dark Crisis, I really thought Dick Grayson was in danger there of having whatever happened to the Justice League happen to him. That's more of what I was thinking than anything else. So that really shocked me when all of a sudden Superboy was there and we got to see these two battle. I loved how that played out.
I'll be honest with you, I did not, and again, I was swerved just like you were when John showed up. I should have seen it coming, because we saw him flying there at the end of last issue. But, so when he was there, I popped just as well. I was like, yes! And I cheered for that as well. That, again, great Superman moment, great, Nightwing moments, great hero moments, and then Cyborg Superman shows up. I was like, oh, yes! This is going to be cool. Superman versus Cyborg Superman. Outstanding fight. Again, it just kept this issue. It hit, then boom, then again and again and again. And it just kept escalating the energy level. And I was like, man, this is an outstanding issue.
Yeah, and that was something that I really enjoyed, was the fact that, you're right, we got this really cool, outstanding issue. that was easy to enjoy. You had great moments. Cyborg Superman, because of Death of Superman, I will always have a soft spot for that villain. And the idea that we got a chance to play around with that, to see him with John, and to see him and John have an epic battle. That was something that really stood out for me, was the battle between the two and seeing what that was like. Cyborg Superman, for a while there, was kind of shelved or almost diminished. And this was great because he was the farthest thing from diminished in this. It was just a cool battle.
Well, and that was you needed a Superman to fight him.
Yep.
And that's when I like seeing that you need a Kryptonian or someone with Kryptonian level powers to fight Cyborg Superman. And so, again, great usage of him, great usage of, John in there. And I like the fact that Cyborg Superman is already contaminated by the darkness because he's shooting that out against John. But it really, again, it's kind of a neat play on what exactly is the darkness doing to these different villains. What's it exactly doing to Slade, to Cyborg Superman, and who is deeply infected and who's only just being influenced by it.
Right.
And that's, I think, one of the cool parts about this mystery that's unfolding. Because, again, we see that Slade is 100% infected by the darkness. Cyborg Superman looks like he's also deeply infected because, as I said, he's shooting out the darkness. Most of the minions for Slade aren't even affected. They're just following Slade's orders. So I think that, again, is who gets to choose. Who do they choose? Who do they infect? Who do they not infect? Why? What, the side story behind it. And again, what is their end game? Is he trying to, again, is he feeding on hope? Is he feeding on despair? Is he feeding on chaos? What is powering that engine?
I don't know. It's interesting to see Slade.
I love that.
Yeah, Slade has been infected as a part of this whole process with what happened with him, with his life being brought back. What is this going to mean for Slade long term? I can't wait to see where that's going as well. You seeing Cyborg step on Cyborg Superman going, "You're done, Henshaw. I am sick and tired of you giving cyborgs a bad name." I mean, that part was really, really an outstanding moment. Black Adam coming on the scene and basically saying, "You are not ready to lead the Justice League, son of Kal-El, but I was wrong about you, Nightwing. Deathstroke may have led this attack, but the blame for this tragedy falls at your feet." Boy, is he a feel-good moment.
Yes. I love Black Adam. And again, the portrayal in this is absolutely outstanding. And I see what he's going at. I see where he's getting. And a Black Adam-led Justice League hunting down Deathstroke is something I really, really, really want to see.
The sequence with Kyle Rayner at the end was great. I don't know why I didn't see this going where it did, but it was great to see the Green Lantern Corps getting back together and basically stepping up at this point, realizing that after everything that's happened with, Hal's kind of regrouped now that he's up to speed with everything. He's realizing, I need the Corps here. We need to all rally together, get into the sequence. We got Training Day with Black Adam for his new Justice League coming up. We got the Battle of the Emerald Onslaught coming up. What a great series this is. This is a summer event. This is exactly what I wanted for this. I wanted every page, every issue to open up new doorways, to make me think in new ways. And also, this doesn't feel like a rehash of the crises we've gotten before. It feels like an expansion. It feels like a sequel. It feels like a new story, a new direction, but it doesn't feel like we're covering the same ground that we have before. Yeah, there's characters that have traditionally been associated with the Crisis. There's something new going on here, and that part I'm really digging about this.
Well, and I'll tell you, that's one of the things, because we said this last time we talked about Dark Crisis. I was expecting something kind of like how we had with Death Metal and the Joker Who Laughs, and that kind of darkness. Was not expecting this kind of story being told under the name of Dark Crisis. So I think that for me is kind of a neat idea and a neat concept of what is the darkness. What is it truly? We've seen kind of glimpses. We saw that battle where the Justice League disappeared. where they, air quotes, died. We saw that that's kind of like the face of darkness, but there's more to the story than just that. There's more to the story than corruption of these supervillains, corruption of these characters. There's a whole other side piece to this. And I think that, for me, is what's really making me go, this is a cool story. I'm digging this big time.
I knew you had to have loved Hal's line, right?
Yep. Hey,
Good.
That's why I brought back up. There you go. He's a good man.
Great molecules! They're programming the computers for a chain reaction to blow up that atomic pile!
I would like to remind everyone about our show voicemail line. It's 1-440-388-4434 or drnorge on Skype. We love having you part of the show. RagingBullets@gmail.com is our email address. You can contact us that way. RagingBullets.com is our show website, which feeds into our Facebook page. It also feeds into our Twitter. We are proud to be part of an amazing Facebook group community. I want to thank everyone who posts there, shares news, which we will have coming back on our next episode. It's just a great discussion area, and I thank everyone that takes time to post there. Remember, you can link your podcast, your blog, share any news articles that you find, topics you want us to talk about on the show. Please throw them into the Facebook group community. We would like you to be a part of driving the action that happens here. So thank you for everyone who participates. We consider you a major part of the podcast. Mr. Sagulin, DCB Service and InStockTrades.com are supporting our show. What is going on over at DCBService.com?
We've got the Batman Day special, Hush issue number 1, only 50 cents. Batman Day special, mystery casebook special, only 50 cents. We have Batman Night Watch, issue 1 of 5, 50% off, only $1.49. And Batman vs. Robin, issue number 1, 50% off, only $2.99. Thank you, DCBS.
Over at InStockTrades.com, we have the Batman Urban Legends Trade Paperback Volume 2, $24.99 regularly, 42% off, only $14.49. We have the Catwoman Fear State Trade Paperback Volume 6, $16.99 regularly, 42% off, only $9.85. I want to thank DCB Service and InStock Trades for continuing to support our show and also supporting our contest, which we are running from July till September. It's going to be your job to create a spoiler warning, an audio file sent to ragingbullets@gmail.com, or leave it on our voicemail line. If you do not want to do either of those, you're like, I've got a great idea, silly idea, fun idea, something dynamic, I'm going to send that in. Email it to ragingbullets@gmail.com, and we'll have Jim act it out on the show. First prize winner is going to get the book of their choice from the September previews, hardcover or trade, spot on the show. You can, of course, choose the book that we're going to discuss in that segment, or if you don't want to join us, you're like, that's not your cup of tea, you can drive the segment of the show. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Second and third prize winner will do the same thing. Please go ahead and feel free to start sending us entries right away, and we'll start airing them on the show. Otherwise, we will save them for September and start using them then. Thank you for everyone who's considering participating, because the idea is to have some fun. Drive the show, participate in it. So thank you very much for everyone participating in the show and for everything that you do. Mr. Sagulin, our next episode, we're going to be discussing some really cool books. We're going to be back to talk about Dark Crisis World Without a Justice League, Superman number 1, and Joker issue number 15. We will see you then.
Bye.
All right, you guys. Are you ready to sing your song?
I'd say we are. Yeah, let's sing it now.
Okay, this should be fun. Now get ready for your cue. Okay, Sean?
Okay.
Okay, Jim? Jim? Jim!
Okay. Raging Bullets time is here. We talk about what we hold dear. Comic books and TV shows. Superheroes and their clothes. Justice League and so much more. I just love Green Lantern Corps. We talk about the
Okay, fellas, get ready. That was very good, Sean.
Naturally.
Jim, you're a little flat there, so be careful. Jim?
Okay. Justice League and so much more. I still love Green Lantern Corps. DC Comics are what we know. The Raging Bullet Show. DC Comics are what we know. The Raging Bullet Show.
Excellent job, guys.
Let's sing it again. Yeah, let's sing it again.
No, that's enough. Let's not push it.
Push it? What is that? Yeah, what are you talking about?
No, I didn't mean anything by that.
I think
Sean,
we're going to
Jim,
I don't know.
how long do you want the song to go?
Look, it's our production.